Most veterans think a 100% VA disability rating means one thing: a bigger monthly check. And yeah, the compensation matters. But here's the part almost nobody tells veterans while they're fighting through the claims process. When a veteran reaches the right rating level, it can unlock benefits that aren't just for the veteran. It can open doors for their spouse and family too. Healthcare programs that many families don't even know exist. Education benefits that can help a spouse go back to school or change careers. And in some cases, long-term protections for the family if something happens to the veteran. Now, here's the crazy part. A lot of veteran families only find out about these things years later. Sometimes after they've spent thousands of dollars on healthcare they might not have needed to. Sometimes after they passed up opportunities they didn't realize were available. And the reason this happens is simple. The VA system is complicated. Information is scattered everywhere, and most veterans are just trying to survive the claims process in the first place. So today I want to break down something every veteran family should understand. If a veteran reaches certain rating levels, there are benefits that may become available for their spouse that most families never hear about. And if you're sitting at 40, 50, 60, or even 70% right now, this is something you should understand because your rating might affect a lot more than you think. One of the biggest problems with the VA system isn't just the paperwork, it's how information spreads. Most veterans don't learn about benefits through official channels. They hear things from a buddy who filed a claim, someone in a Facebook group, a Reddit thread, or a conversation at the VA waiting room. So what ends up happening is that information spreads in pieces. One vet hears about compensation, another hears about healthcare, another hears about education programs. But very few veterans ever see the full picture of how the system actually works. And when you're dealing with something as complicated as the VA benefit system, missing pieces of information can matter. Certain ratings don't just change your compensation, they can change what benefits become available to your family. And if nobody ever explains those connections, a lot of families miss opportunities they didn't even know existed. Most veterans mentally separate two things: their service and their family. When they think about disability benefits, they usually think about it like this: this is something related to me, my injuries, my health, my compensation. But the reality is that service-connected health issues rarely affect just the veteran. They affect the household, they affect relationships, they affect financial stability, they affect the day-to-day rhythm of family life. And because of that, parts of the VA benefit system are actually designed to support the family unit, not just the individual veteran. But that part of the system doesn't get talked about very often. Let's talk about one of the biggest benefits families sometimes discover: healthcare. There's a program called CHAMPVA that eligible spouses of veterans may qualify for under certain conditions. Now, this isn't the same healthcare veterans receive directly through the VA. CHAMPVA is designed specifically for eligible spouses and dependents, and it can help cover things like doctor visits, hospital care, prescriptions, medical services, insurance premiums, doctor bills, medication costs, and those things add up fast. So when a program like CHAMPVA becomes available to a spouse, it can take a lot of pressure off a family. But here's what's surprising. A lot of veterans only learn about CHAMPVA years after they could have used it. They've been paying for insurance, paying out of pocket for medical care, paying for prescriptions, and nobody ever told them the program existed. That's one of the reasons conversations like this matter, because the more veterans understand the system, the more they can plan for their family's future. Another benefit that catches many veteran families off guard involves education. Under certain conditions, spouses of veterans may qualify for programs that help with education or training. That can include things like college programs, trade schools, professional certifications, or job training. Now imagine what that can mean for a household. Maybe your spouse wants to go back to school. Maybe they want to change careers. Maybe they want to learn a new skill that opens up better opportunities. Education can completely change the trajectory of someone's life. And in some cases, the VA system includes programs that help make that possible. But again, a lot of families don't find out until much later, sometimes years after the opportunity was available. There's another part of the VA benefit system that veterans don't always like thinking about: long-term protection for their family. Most veterans carry a strong sense of responsibility toward the people they love. They want to make sure their spouse and kids are taken care of. And service-connected health issues can make that question feel even more real. What happens to the family if something happens to the veteran? There are programs within the VA system designed to support surviving spouses under certain conditions. And the purpose of the program is simple: to provide stability and financial support for families. Now, every situation is different. Eligibility depends on multiple factors, but the important thing to understand is that the VA system includes mechanisms designed to help protect families. And those protections are often tied to the veteran's rating and documented conditions. One of the most common things we see is that veterans assume the rating is final. They file once, they receive a decision, and they assume the process is over. But the reality is that the claims process can be complicated. Medical records might not be fully organized. Conditions might not have been connected properly. Secondary conditions might not have been documented. Or a veteran might not have understood what evidence the VA was actually looking for. Because of that, many veterans spend years living with ratings that don't fully reflect what they're dealing with. And that can affect the benefits available to their household. There's another topic that comes up in almost every conversation with veterans: integrity. A lot of vets hesitate to pursue claims or increases because they don't want to feel like they're gaming the system. They'll say things like, "I'm not trying to take advantage of anything. Other guys had it worse than me. I'm fine with what I've got." That mindset comes from a good place. Veterans tend to hold themselves to a very high moral standard. But the real question isn't whether someone deserves help. The real question is simple: are the conditions real and service-connected? If they are, documenting them properly isn't gaming the system. It's simply making sure the system has accurate information about what service actually did to your health. There's another side to this conversation that doesn't get talked about enough: the family experience. When a veteran struggles with pain, sleep issues, PTSD, or other service-connected health conditions, the family feels it too. Spouses carry a lot of weight. They help hold things together during difficult periods. They support the veteran emotionally. They manage responsibilities when the veteran can't. They sit through appointments and stressful moments. So when benefits exist that can support the household, it's not just about compensation, it's about stability. It's about reducing stress inside the home. It's about creating options for the people who have been standing next to the veteran the whole time. If there's one thing I want veterans to understand from this conversation, it's this: a VA disability rating isn't just a number, it's a doorway into different parts of the system. And depending on the situation, those parts of the system can include benefits that affect your spouse and your family. Healthcare, education benefits, long-term protections. But the key is understanding how the system works, because when veterans have the right information, they can make better decisions for their family. At the end of the day, most veterans aren't trying to take advantage of anything. They're just trying to take care of the people they love. And understanding how the VA system works is one of the ways you do that, because the better informed you are, the better decisions you can make for your family's future.